Let's just wait for a couple of minutes and start. I think some people are just joining. Okay, up till the time we wait, can you guys introduce yourself? Maybe we have a couple of minutes. We just can understand what you are looking for in the session. What you are currently doing. Are you in the field of AI, or are you in the any other field? You can just tell anyone if you want to tell. Please tell what you are expecting from the session, so I can just check it.
Uh, Hello, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Arun. I'm working as a senior manager
Okay,
in a
nice.
service. Yeah, hi. So I'm working as a senior manager handling the IT infrastructure operations and database and application operations. So basically, my expectation is to learn generative AI and implement in the current one and make a career progression from manager kind of job to the techno manager role.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. Uh, okay. So you are saying that you are already in the IT industry. So are you in like any coding, or are you in any other, like you are in the management side of things? Are you leading a team or something?
Previously, I was in coding as the start of my case. I have total around of 16 years of IT experience. So now for the last 9 to 10 years, I'm into the operations and leading a team. So leading a projects and delivery of that, and some hands-on tech, mainly into the Oracle database and .NET application and web services. In addition to that, I have knowledge of about IT infrastructure, servers, Windows Server, Linux Server, administration also. So
Okay.
mainly it's a operations kind of job. So maybe learning AI can enhance my skills and improve the current processes also.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Very good. Okay. Any other, like apart from Arun, you want to introduce yourself? I think we have a couple of minutes. Maybe we can just see, like, just check your expectations from the session, or like what you are looking for in the program. So it will be good to share that.
Hi, hi. My name is Ritesh. I have
Okay.
around 15 years of experience.
Okay.
I have 15 years of IT experience. I am working as an architect here at my current
Okay.
company. And my profile that I'm totally related to development. So initial days I was in .NET. Around 6 7 years I was in .NET. Then
Okay.
I work in big data technology. So around 2 years, 3 years I work in big data technology. And right now I am working on robotics. So, like blueprint, power automate, these are my expertise area. So I'm joining this course. I mean, I'm just want to analyze that how I can leverage this with generative AI in my current profile, and how I can get benefit. I mean, how I can make our application more robust by using the generative AI.
Gen AI capabilities. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's
I hope that will help me. I mean, my in robotics that is also generative AI section is there. But exactly, I mean, I'm not aware that how we can get more benefit, and I can create more expert and self-driven application by using generative AI.
okay.
So this is my motive to understand that the features and how we can integrate and all, and
Okay.
we can make more robust our application, and as per our career also, you know, how we can get benefit on this one, and we can demonstrate own self in the market that generative AI I have used, and how I can get the benefit of the generative AI.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have a defined session. We have a defined program that is there actually. So we are actually going to be showcasing like what we are having currently, and how we have designed the program. So it is a program that is actually helpful for I would say new person also, intermediate people also, and advanced people also, and how like it is going to be helpful. So that is what we are going to be seeing in the session. It's a demo session basically. I mean, like, we'll just see like what are the course material, what are the course content, and how we are, design this course and how it will be helpful. So just to give a starter, I just want to introduce myself. So I am Dr. Arvind Subramanian. So I had done my PhD in technology adoption. I basically learn on how I did my research on OTT platforms actually. So we studied on how adoption of technology of OTT services can happen. So I did it in 2020 when OTT services became a big thing in India and Asia Pacific region actually. So what was the research problem was basically when the OTT services, streaming services like Netflix, Hotstar, and all came to India and Asia Pacific region. So what they were facing difficulty was there was a lot of internet penetration in all these areas, but people were not adopting OTT like how it was happening in North America and MENA and all those regions. So what was the problem? So that was the research problem, and I had done my PhD on that. So that was basically my PhD degree. But apart from that, in the AI space, I'm a Microsoft certified, IBM certified AI expert. So there was an exam called AA 102. It's a Azure Engineer Associate exam. So I have Microsoft certified in that and IBM certified for Watson XAI. So that is a software that what IBM has developed. So I am a certified IBM practitioner, and I also have a Google Cloud practitioner certificate for a Diamond League status actually. So there is a skill badge that they are conducting, and in that I am a Diamond League practitioner. Apart from this, I have written books which are best-selling books in Amazon. So that was a book called Get Vocal for Local. That was in marketing actually, but I just had to like write like basically how to do digital marketing in a regional markets of India, how to localize content and stuff like that. So that's very useful in this AI scenario because we have to develop AI for regional markets of India and stuff like that. So that was thing that I had written, and close to 80 generative AI applications I had built. So these are pilots, POCs for a lot of large enterprises, a lot of corporates, and a lot of companies, and a lot of B2C applications also. I have created like custom LLMs, custom tuned LLMs, local LLMs, SLMs, that is small language models, and have some expertise in functions like model fine tuning, vector embedding, RAG concepts, that is retrieval augmented generations, creating AI agents, and some skills with the prompt engineering. So this is my profile basically, and I also participate regularly in summits, events that are covering AI. I speak, I take classes for a lot of colleges in Tamil Nadu and in and around Bangalore and all those areas. So this is basically my profile, and let us go into the program. So what is this program? This program is a 40-hour session. That is basically it's in the 40-hour we also have a theory as well as practicals. Okay, so basically we are blending both the theoretical concept as well as practical application. So every session will have a theory session that will be for around 45 minutes to 1 hour. So after that, what we will do is we are also having a script. So there'll be a code that will be shared after the session. That is basically a practical version of what we learned in the theory. So for example, if you are learning RAG as a theory, we will be getting a code for running the RAG concept. Okay, so we can learn the theory as well as develop an application which can test out what we learned in the theory. So that is how the session is basically devised, so that what we'll do is we will learn the fundamentals as well as we will apply the knowledge. So what this is helpful is basically if you are a beginner, you are getting a code, so you just understand the how the theory works in the code, right? You just need to like understand the concept by doing things, just by running some cell, running the program. So it is a easy thing to do. But for a like a intermediate or advanced people, so since you have a code base, right? So what is happening, you are learning a theory, you are seeing a base, so you can actually tinker the code, you can play with the code, you can, if you already have an application or you already have an idea, you can take this concept and apply. So you have a like a clay. Basically, you can build anything out of that action. So that is how we have designed it. It is suitable for both beginners, intermediate, as well as advanced level. So okay, so what is generative AI and why it is very famous, and why now a lot of people are talking about it? Like, it's very popular, right? Even in a recent event, Sundar Pichai had mentioned, the CEO of Google. So what he has told that the invention of generative AI is even more significant than the invention of fire. So he's comparing the invention of generative AI to something like as as impactful as the fire. Once we only got invention of fire only, then we started cooking and all those. So it's a very important part of the human civilization, right? But he is comparing the invention of generative AI to even more significant than that. So why he is telling like that? Because generative AI is something very transformational compared to a traditional AI or a machine learning thing. Why? Because in traditional AI or machine learning, we develop models, we develop concepts to predict things. So we basically give, for example, we give some kind of a data set, like stock market, or a share price of Apple, how it had performed in the last 5 years, and then we are giving to this model and we are asking it to predict it, like how it will be in the next 1 year. What will be the highs, what will be the lows. The model will learn that, and it will be able to predict it based on various permutation, combination, various factors. Based on that, it can machine can learn and it can predict. So, or you can also train the model based on your customer data, and you can ask the churn rate, or when the customer will convert, or which customer will subscribe, unsubscribe for your service, and it can able to predict that. So these were all some things, like in the banking they can predict risk analysis, credit risk, all those things they are doing. So these are all prediction, and we don't know whether the how the accuracy the model is. It is only able to predict things based on its learning, right? But generative AI is not prediction, it is creation. What this Gen AI applications we can do is, it can learn from us trained data set, right? It is trained on some data sets, like, so it can train on trillions and trillions of data set, and it has learned something, okay? And when you ask it to create something, it will create it. So that is why you can see, like, people are using chat gpt, perplexity, Google AI, or Meta AI and all. They are going and asking it to create email, create a blog, or create a, like a sms, or create some titles, create some LinkedIn post. So it is able to write, and it is not the same. Like, it is not like, myself and you both can actually go to chat gpt and we can type some prompt. It will give some other answer to me, some other answer to you. It's a very dynamic thing, right? So generative AI is almost like human. Like, it is like how we are going to school and college, we are learning some things, right? You can compare it to a data set. Yeah, the Gen AI models is learning something by data sets, and then how we are going to work and create different things, right? So similarly, Gen AI models, foundation models, are going and creating something different as per what is required by the user. So that is why it is a very transformational technology. And this technology is revolutionizing a lot of industries, like entertainment, or a lot of creative industries are getting transformed, because even if you do not have certain skills, you can help with the help of AI. You can create, it's like an aid or an assistant, right? To make your job better. So a lot of, like, in the call, like you guys were telling, like, I want to see how Gen AI can help me in work. So if you are in operations, or if you are in, like, you are having some like a monotonous work, or you want to track your teammates, how they are doing. So basically, like, if you are running a call center, right, you can basically, what you can do, you want to track the performance of 100 people, like how they are answering and stuff. So basically, you can just take the audio recordings. You need not listen to the audio recording. Before, the manager used to listen to the audio recording, whether the person is able to give the answer to the customer, whether the customer is happy. Based on that, you are giving some score. So what you can do now, you can just feed that audio to the generative AI. Generative AI can listen to the entire conversation. It can give you a summary of what happened, whether your person was helpful, not helpful. Based on that, they can give. Similarly, you can just take a Jira board, you can give it to that AI, and you can tell, which person is, finishing his task perfectly, which person is not finishing his task perfectly. And based on that, you can track the stuff. So there are a lot of real world examples and use cases that is there, that Gen AI can actually intervene and do. So basically, let us look at the course structure. As I told you, there is a 50-50 percentage of theory and practice. We are also giving a takeaway of the code. We are sharing the that Google code, like collab notebooks, or GitHub. We are creating code spaces that can be shared. uh, Basically, after the class, you can take and you can tinker with that code, and you can build like your applications on top of it also. So basically, there are like several modules that each aspects of the generative AI is covered in each of the module. And from foundation concepts to the advanced application, all the modules, like from start, you are basically learning and creating the modules, learning, and you are increasing your knowledge progressively. So that's how the course is designed. So what are the outcomes from this? You are basically going to get a strong grasp of the generative AI. You are going to learn how these things work, how to build, use these Gen AI, like really good technologies, like 3.5 turbo, or GPT 3.5 turbo, GPT 4.0, GPT 4.0 mini. Now Claude has come, Sean at 3.5. Or there are applications like Perplexity, how to use that effectively. There are no code tools, low code tools, how to use that for our purposes, how to build AI agents. All these things, you just understand how these things work, how to use these things, and how to develop applications that will help, small applications that will help your like basically do your operations in a very faster way, like automate your operations, so that you can get a lot of time for your own things, right? The course basically helps you become a little, like job ready, because what is going to happen in almost every role, one of the soft skills that will be expected from HR manager is like, are you able to work with AI well? That is, are you good with prompt engineering, or are you like able to use these Gen AI applications? Like because what is going to happen is, every tool that you are using, right? For example, even this video like GoTo, or this Zoom meetings, or all these tools are going to have AI as a embedded thing. So what is, how good are you able to use AI? Like if you are using some tools, whatever softwares you are using, they are going to have an embedded AI embedded in them. So whether you are able to ask the right questions to the AI and get the answers from that, so that is going to be a good skill that you are going to get as a learning outcome from this session. So we are basically looking at some core concepts, like foundational theories of Gen AI. The first few classes will look at the underlying principles of Gen AI, how the models like GPT or other language models are trained, how they are working, how to use them for our own purposes. For example, how to create our own chat GPT in our own custom data. If we are giving some PDF, whether we are able to get the answers. So we don't want some normal answers from the internet, we want it for our own purpose. Like for example, we have our own code database is there. So you are new to the system, you want to understand what is happening in the code. So basically, you want to use AI to understand the code better, like which how the input is built, how the front end is built, how the API is functioning. So all those things the AI can explain to you, like a good way. And similarly, you can give your own like local LLMs without connecting to the internet, how to manage the data securely by bringing LLM to your own system without internet, how without the transfer of data to the internet, how you can handle all those things. So basically, the core concepts we will learn in the first few classes. Then what we'll be learning the frameworks, how to build a framework. Like there are a lot of frameworks available in the market, like Llama Index, LangChain. So how to bring those appropriate framework, how to put LLM in these frameworks. Like for example, we can build an LLM models with memory, context, chat interface, the hierarchy of the messages, like which messages we have to feed to the system so that it is more contextually relevant, it is giving more appropriate answers. So all those things, how to select a model. Basically, there are hundreds of models available. There are models from OpenAI, models from Meta, models from Google, models from Hugging Face, where a lot of open source models are coming in. So how to use those models, how to select which model is suitable for which use case. So those things we'll be learning. And we'll also be building interactive applications using these models. And as I told you, custom data, that is tailoring your AI for your own data. So, for example, there are domain specific AI, like you are building a use case for your own domain, like banking domain or finance domain or some kind of a IT domain or some HR domain. So, how to tailor your AI for that particular purpose? How to make it, behave in the way you want it to behave? How to give a role for it? So, all those things, so that you can harness the full potential of AI for your specific use cases. And we'll be having practical sessions where we'll be feeding these custom data to the LLMs. We'll be fine tuning these things, like how to fine tune the LLM, that what are the hyper parameters that are there, like epochs, data sets, how to train these models to learn how to answer questions for our use cases. So these things you will be learning. And after all these things, that is basically selecting the models, fine tuning the model, giving custom data, selecting the technology provider like Grok or Anthropic or OpenAI, so like that, how the tokens work. So after understanding all these things, the more important one is the evaluation, right? For example, there is a lot of complaints like AI is hallucinating, AI is not giving accurate scores, AI is not giving answers the way I want it to give. So these are some complaints. So when you are building these AI applications, evaluation is a very important thing. Like how do you evaluate it? So there are like scores like precision, recall, F1 score, that will predict the accuracy of an AI model. So how do we measure these metrics? So there are something called as a confusion matrix, like true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. So based on that, how do we define these precision recall and F1 scores, rogue scores? How do we give a golden record? That is, this is the question for that, this is the expected answer, and this is the answer generated by AI. So how do we compare these and how do we give an accuracy of the AI's performance? So these kind of things we'll be learning. And then multimodal AI. What is multimodal AI? That is whatever, like now Chat GPT or this Meta AI or Google AI, they are all text based, right? Like for example, you are giving some text, the answer is you are giving your question in text, you are getting an answer in text. But you want to integrate other types of data, like for example voice, images. So like when you are using WhatsApp, you can send the image, or you can record your voice, you can send your text, anything you can do. But for the AI also, the AI should be able to understand voice, image, text, like that. So how it will happen? There are some concepts like computer vision, transcribing of text, like that. So what is that? Basically, there are ways where we are giving system the power of vision, the system the power of hearing. So basically, it can, like how the human can understand audio. Similarly, the AI systems can look at an image. It can break the image into something it can understand. Okay, what is there in the image, and based on that, it can tell you. So, for example, there's some issue with your internet. So you are calling some customer care agent and telling my light, I mean the modem's light is not blinking or something. So he will tell some instructions based on what you are telling him. Instead of that, if you are just sending a photo of the broken device to the AI. AI can tell you, like, can you fix this wire? I think this wire is not routed properly. Based on that, you can build an AI application that is very helpful for the customer. So instead of calling the customer care agent, he can talk to this bot and help that, right? So that is a image based. So similarly, in India, there is a lot of literacy related issue, right? Not people are not having literacy to type something. They don't know to read and write. They can only talk. So voice based AI is very important in countries like India for AI adoption. So how do we build a voice based AI? Like we are talking something to the AI, the AI is able to understand and it can convert the audio to a text and basically respond in text, or you can even convert it to audio. So basically, the audio, that is the speech, is converted to text, the STT, and text to converted to the speech, TTS. So both the models is the multimodal AI. So how do we build those multimodal AI models is something we will learn. And then there is something called as function calling. So what is function calling? Function calling is basically AI agent. You are having some agent. Okay, you are building some AI agent. So you want the AI agent to do certain task. That is, go to Gmail and send an email. Go to telephone, make a call to this person. So these kind of tools you can basically define, and you can basic how a human body is there, right? a hand is for taking things, leg is for kicking. So like that we can give separate function for separate use cases, and you can build everything together for an AI, so the AI can perform tasks, it can become an agent. So that is basically called as function calling. And we'll be learning Streamlit very deeply. So what is Streamlit? Streamlit is an library of Python. So when we were building applications before, what we used to do, we used to construct a front end, we used to construct a back end, we used to construct an API, right? So the you can consider, like as I told you, you can consider it like a restaurant. Basically the front end is the table and the menu card that is there, so user is telling something, and the waiter is like an API. So the API is understanding what the user is telling, and it is going and giving to the backend, the kitchen. He is telling like the user in the table number 5, he is asking for a like a roti and some noodles and some juice. So he's telling that. So the kitchen guy is preparing that and he's giving, and the waiter is coming and serving. So you can consider it like an application. So the customer is basically sitting in the front end, and he's basically hitting some text and he's hitting the button. So the button basically triggers an API. That API is making a call to the backend, and the backend is giving something, and it is delivered back to the user, right? So it's a like a for new person, it will be a little difficult, because you need to construct a backend, you need to construct a front end, you need to build an API. I mean, like you need to configure an API that can connect a front end and back end. So instead of that, the Streamlit basically does all of these things in like 5 to 6 lines of code. So just with a Python, just with some Streamlit library, you can construct a application. So why it is very important in the field of generative AI? Because Gen AI is currently used a lot for this pilot and POC purposes. So you are going to the management and you are telling, sir, we can try this particular option in Gen AI. So it's like, okay, let us build a small POC and pilot and let us check it. So you don't have the time and energy to build this back end, front end, do all this designing and configure API and stuff like that. So instead of that, you just know use case, you just know some POC. So for that, you can just use the Streamlit to build a POC and just show it. So it's a simple UI. You can just see how the things are working. So if the management likes it, then you can scale it for other use cases. So Streamlit is something that we'll be learning deeply and using it. And we'll also be using some real world applications, like how to summarize text, how to process a PDF, how to break. So basically, like how a application reads PDF. So basically what it does, it does a parsing of the text, it parses the PDF, breaks the PDF into a lot of chunks, and then it converts the chunks into embeddings. It stores the embeddings in some vector stores. From the vector stores, it's retrieving some similar vectors, and for based on the user query, it is fetching the similar vectors, and then it is parsing that as an output. It is sending it to LLM, and that LLM is giving you some answer. So it's a complicated, I mean, like a big process. So we will learn that step by step. So we will learn how a PDF is parsed, how the PDF is chunked, how the PDF is converted into embeddings, how the embedding is getting stored in some vector store, how the user query is again converted into embedding, and then how this embedding is processed and sent to a vector store, and how a vector similarity match is happening, how a suitable chunk is being sent to LLM, how we are getting an answer back. So the entire process of chatting with a PDF or summarizing a PDF, we will learn step by step. And we will also be learning Hugging Face. I mean, the will not be learning Hugging Face, we'll be exploring the Hugging Face as a platform. Like Hugging Face as a platform is a open source repository. There is a lot of models available, there is a lot of data sets available, there is a lot of uh, spaces available, lot of tools are available. How do we bring those, use those open source tools for building our application? So we'll be looking at image processing techniques, classification techniques, generation techniques. You would have learned about YOLO, computer vision. That is basically, if you send a screenshot to the, like for example, I'm sure a lot of people follow football here. So offside is something like when you are scoring a goal, you should not cross your defender and go in the front, right? So basically they just take a screenshot and see if any part of the leg is crossing the line or the body is crossing the line. So the YOLO is being used there. So how AI is used there, basically we can train a like a body, this is a human body and this is the grass and this is the line, and if there is any kind of crossing, so there is a bounding box that will come to see whether these kind of things are happening. So there are a lot of things that is there available in Hugging Face which we can use that open source. So these are all pre-trained models that is there. So these are machine learning models. So we won't be learning the machine learning side of things, but we'll be learning the generative AI side of things. So we'll take those models and we'll put it into our projects and we'll use it. So that is what we'll be doing. And we'll also be learning a lot of advanced AI techniques like RAG. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. So that's a very, 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 very important technique, because before what used to happen is the AI was not grounded. What is grounded? There was not a source of truth that was available for AI. So for example, if you don't give a RAG component to your AI, what it will do is when you send it as a chatbot or something, you are a, say for example, you are a travel agent or something, you are having some flight booking system and you have put a AI chatbot. So you don't have a RAG system. That is, there is no policy document that you have given. So someone is coming and asking, hey, can you give me a refund? So the model will just look at it from a natural ability and we'll see like what is the use case, and it will just tell, okay, your refund is given, $2,000 given as refund for you. So what will happen without policy document, like with if say for example you are putting a customer care agent but you are not giving a document to him, so he does not know any company policy, so he's just giving refund for free or something. So it should not be like that, right? So you need to have a document, you need to have a policy, you need to have some kind of a structure to the way the AI is functioning. So that is what the retrieval augmented generation is. So you are giving some source of truth, a knowledge base for the AI to refer and answer back. So if you don't have a RAG, the AI will hallucinate and it will start giving some random information. So if say for example you are an edtech brand, you are dealing with some 10 universities. A student is coming and asking, can you serve this university? But you are not having any partnership with the university. But what is happening if you are not having RAG and the AI does not know about this thing? What it is happened? AI will basically tell, yes, we are there in that university and we'll help you. But what is the reality? The reality is that the university is not being supported by the company and you will be facing trouble. So that's why RAG is very important. How RAG works, basically, whatever the source of truth is given, it is converted as a vector embedding and it is stored in the vector store that is there in the brain. So that is called as the databases. So you would have, database is a common term in the traditional softwares. Also you would have learned like MongoDB or S3 buckets or Google Drive or something, right? You are having a database. So similar to that, vector databases is the database that will be working with the AI. So like local database or database in the cloud. So we'll be learning like databases like AstraDB, FaceDB. How we are basically converting source of truth, that is these documents, into embeddings, and embeddings is stored in these databases, and how these are efficiently stored and how these can be retrieved. So that is the things that we'll be learning. And also we'll be learning some no code low code tools, because there are a lot of tools in the market which are very helpful for people who are not coders or who are not developers. So for non-developers, how to use these AI applications? Can I only know? Can I only build AI applications with code? With only low code or no code, can we do something? So there are platforms like Gumloop, Multi on Langchain. There are platforms like Bland and stuff like that, which are no code, low code tools, which will democratize AI. That is, without knowing coding, but only with business logic and programming logic, you can actually build AI applications. So you can just tell the logic and the AI will take care of building the application. So stuff like that. How do you do that? And you would have known about Playwright. So how do we use Playwright in the context of AI? How to build automate AI processes with tools like AI, Playwright. So that is something that we'll be learning. And the last part of the whole program is the capstone project. So we'll be learning all of these things that we discussed in the 35 40 sessions, 35 36 sessions. And the last 3 4 sessions, what we'll be doing is we'll be building a capstone project. So you will build a end-to-end AI application with all the techniques that we have learned in the previous classes. So all put together, end-to-end AI application with multiple capabilities is something that we'll build as a takeaway of this project. So these are the things that we will be learning. So you can ask me like, how do we, do these coding? Like you are giving some script, how do we, execute it? Whether it will be like you will execute it and we'll see, or we'll also be executing with you. So there is something called as Google Collabs. Uh, I think most of you know this. It's a free tool with the Google. So what I'll be giving is I'll be giving a IPYNB file. So that file is a Google Colab notebook. You can just open the notebook and just open the file that I'm giving. So for here, you can see lesson one, lesson two, like that. So that program, if you just open it, it will give all the instructions. You just need to run the code along with me, and I'll be explaining the code, what is happening, and you can do that. And for the LLM, we'll be using Grok. Grok is currently giving free APIs, so we can use that actually for learning purposes. So console.grok.com, you can go, you can just log in with your Google, and you will be getting free API keys. So that API keys we can do. It's a very fast AI that Grok is actually helping to users to use these AI models like Llama 3, and a lot of latest models are available that you can use it and stuff. So we'll be using Grok as an LLM, and we'll be using Colab notebooks. And for complicated applications where Colab, we may not be able to, run the code and deploy the application. For that, what we'll be doing is we'll be having GitHub. In the GitHub, there is something called as a code space. That code space is basically like an IDE that is like you don't need to have a Visual Studio Code in your particular system. So instead of that, you will be having it in the code spaces, GitHub code spaces. At a time, I think you can have up to 2 to 3 code spaces. So basically, we'll be having that code space where we'll be having these Python codes, and we'll run it, and we can easily deploy it and share it with others. So those things also can be done. So these are the things. Maybe if you have any questions, I think I can take this. Anyone have any questions?
Uh, yeah, Arvind. That is fine. So, could you please tell me one thing, just like I don't have any previous experience related to Gen AI, or related to such kind of technology. Okay, I have related to that experience in .NET and other programming language. But what is basic requirement to learn Gen AI in
So
terms of
see, yeah. So all the it is, so we'll be starting from the foundation level. Okay. So the thing is only the interest is needed. Okay. And the thing is we'll be uh, yeah, I think yeah. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing the code in the Python actually. So some basic knowledge of Python is needed, but even if it is not there, you can pick it up actually, because with the world of generative AI, what is happening is there is AI that is there to help you in each and every step. So for example, you don't understand a code, you can just go to ChatGPT, or Meta AI or Google AI. You can just put that code and ask this, what is happening in this code, can you explain? So it will tell you like what is happening in the code. Anyway, I'm going to give you the code, you can just copy the code and you can tell. And I'll also explain you how to change the code, or how to customize the code according to your process. Even what you can do is you can just put that code there, and you can ask the chat gpt or whatever AI tools to change the code according to your. So the thing is, you don't need like a coding knowledge, very extensive coding knowledge, but the interest and the business logic and the programming logic, like this is what I want. If you can able to explain that to the AI really well, that will be
okay,
good actually.
so basically you are saying that Python is a required, or we can say basic requirement for this one, correct?
Correct, correct. Because why? Why? Because you can build it with Java also. You can build it with the JavaScript also. You can build with Node.js as a backend, and you can build with TypeScript as a front end also. But Python is most compatible language for all these docs. So for example, I'm saying like for example, you can go to OpenAI, or you can go to any kind of AI thing, right? So if you look at the API reference, right, the first thing they will be giving is pip install. It will be mostly Python related codes. So the documentation will be in Python. See, we can convert this to any other language also, like Java or Node.js also. Okay, you can do that with other languages also, but Python is a language that is mostly compatible with all the programming. I mean, like all these API references that is there in this Gen AI thing. So, and it's also little easier to build applications with Python. So that is why we are, like having it in Python. Some knowledge in Python is like it is advised to have, but it is not like a mandate. You can pick it up, is what I'm saying. I think I'm getting some questions in chat also. What if I don't have any developer background? So that's what I told Dinesh. So what I'm saying is, even if you don't have a developer background, if you have that interest to learn what is happening in the code wise, right? Like for example, even if you don't know the programming, if you are understanding the logic and you can explain to the AI what you want, you can still write. That is not so only developers. So what has happened is with the AI, it has somehow reduced the gap between developers and non-developers. Even if you are a non-developer, you can still pick up the concepts and do it. So it's suitable in that way. And Manju had asked like, what is the suitable experience you need to? So not like that. Even like freshers can also pick it up. Like 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, 5 years, whatever experience you are. So see what I'm telling is, generative AI is just started. It has been only like 1.5 to 2 years. Okay. So how it became popular was this ChatGPT came in and they allowed users to use it. A lot of people started using it and they wanted to build their own AI. So AI has been there for a lot of time. Okay. But how it became popular was they kind of democratized it by giving it as an interface. Anyone can use AI like that. So people wanted to build AI application. Then what ChatGPT did, OpenAI, they opened the API keys. So they told, okay, you go and build something. So developers started building with that, and then every other company like Google, Microsoft, IBM, all these Anthropic, Claude, everyone started giving their API keys, and people started using it. So it's only 2 years. So if you start it now itself, right? Then when people are actually asking for Gen AI talent, you will be able to have that one. So that is the thing. So data analytics, you are in data analytics, then Gen AI is very useful because uh, I can tell you, I was a marketer before this. So we used to have analytics from the user points, right? We used to have Google Analytics. We used to have analytics from our app downloads. We used to have users where they have been, how much bounce rate, all those things. So when we have data like that, we didn't know how to present the data or how to create reports from the data and stuff like that. But now what has happened is you just give a report of the data to the AI. It is able to create much more visualization. Like it can pick up data points. It can write stories based on data points. It is extremely, it has revolutionized the data industry actually. So it may be very useful for you. Yeah. Arun, you are actually, I think you wanted to ask. Go ahead.
Arvind, I just want to ask what kind of, based on your experience for last 2 years in Gen AI, so what kind of roles companies are looking for basically after doing this course? How it can help me for 15
Okay.
plus years of experience?
Yeah, so the thing is, one thing is Gen AI related roles. Okay. Second thing is in your role, how Gen AI can help. So you have to see it in both ways. For you, it's a upskilling. So you are having a Gen AI, it's like a good to have skill actually. But if you are looking for AI related roles, this course is not. You need to have much, like how do I tell it? One thing is every week, every day there is some new development is coming. If you see this week itself, today is Friday, okay, so Wednesday what happened, Meta released a sam 2 model, that is segment anything model. So they released a new YOLO technique. So on Thursday what happened, OpenAI released a structured data output in there. So every day one company or the other company is releasing some feature or the other. So this course has that, I mean, like, we are updated. But you also, if you are looking at building an AI career, we have to be honest, you also have to be updated. Like, you have to follow YouTube, you have to follow tutorials, you have to follow GitHub, you have to follow documentation, you have to follow what is happening. So that is a good skill. Here also we will teach you the fundamentals, how, what is the things and stuff like that. We will teach all those things. So if you want to develop a AI career, you also have to have that urge and need and learning in all those areas. So that is all.
So, do companies require an background in NLP or deep learning kind of thing or machine learning?
So that depends from company to company, role to role. Okay, like for example, you are looking at a AI engineer kind of role or a machine learning engineer kind of role. You need to look at the skills. But see, we will give the from a generative AI perspective, we will give a foundational like kind of knowledge. We'll give some good knowledge, so you will understand what is happening. But for like a machine engineer, machine learning engineer, or a AI engineer, or a Gen AI specialist, so those kind of things, we should have much more skills. I think you should look at the job description and you should see like what all things
Uh,
you may need.
will you
But what
cover prompt engineering?
prompt engineering, yes, 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 we will cover that. Yes, we
Okay,
will cover. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, in two aspects, I'm working. First is a development, mean power automate development, is where we can generate some application and all. And second thing is a robotic side. Okay, so how I can leverage this generative AI in my applications?
So I kind of lost you in middle. Can you repeat your question?
Okay, so actually I'm working two sides. First is application development, then where I can develop some application. Okay, so this is my one
Okay.
side, and another side that I am working on robotics. Okay,
Robotics. Okay.
yeah, robotics. So my main profile is robotics. Okay, so
Okay.
how I can leverage this generative AI with my profile? How I can integrate all
That's
these
what,
things.
like, see, in terms of application development, as I told you, it will help in code generation, definitely. Because if you need to review codes, you need to do some kind of code refactoring, you need to do some kind of building some Gen AI capabilities inside your code, and then you need to do some like add some features. You need to quickly turn some applications into something. So you need to convert a Python into a JavaScript into something. So all these things will be needed in the application development side of things, right? So your development methods and development time, if it is taking 1 week with without Gen AI, with Gen AI support, you can do it in a matter of 1 day or 2 days if you are like using the correct prompt techniques and stuff like that. So Gen AI will help you there. In terms of robotics, I think maybe like all these computer vision techniques or these kind of and also, like, see, there are tools like Perplexity which is having real time knowledge. So some chat GPT will have a cutoff date of 2020, 2022, like that, but Perplexity and other tools are having real time knowledge. So you want to do some research, you want to do some background research, you want to find some research papers, you want to learn some so instead of reading the entire research paper, you can feed it to these tools and you can ask it to explain you, and it can help you in learning those things. I think that will help you in your area. I think two people have raised their hands, Hemant and Manju. You can go ahead, Hemant, please.
Yeah. So in here you are giving us the code to explore and probably develop
Yeah.
furthermore. And but in real time we are not, or are we given code or are we expected to create the code?
So that depend on your job role. No, if you are a AI developer, you have to create your own code. If you are in some product management or some and like a supporting roles, right, business analyst or something like that, you don't need to write the code, but you need to tell the guy what you need to build. So for that you need to know some knowledge about what is the happening, what are the gen AI things that are there, what are the functionalities you can bring into the system. Even when you are writing a user story, or even if you are reviewing something, even if you are looking at a developer's effort, you want to see prioritize which you have to prioritize, right? So for all those things you need to know what are the tools and what are the techniques that are available and you can do. But if you are a developer, definitely they will ask you to develop those, I mean write those codes. So that's what I'm saying. For the base you need to have some knowledge like Python knowledge or something. But also what you can do is you can ask these AI tools like ChatGPT or this Grok or this Meta AI or something to. So once you have some knowledge, you can tell them like, see, these are the things I want, can you write a code for me, like all those things, and it can help you write a code, refactor a code, give it some code base, it can edit those codes and all those things. Like it can help you there actually. Manju, you have raised your hands. Maybe you can go ahead next.
Yes, Arvind. Thanks for taking my question. I just want to know because I mentioned that I have 18 years experience in data analytics. I am moving from a IC role to a manager role. How
Okay.
do I take this? How do I take this Gen AI and blend into my work? I don't want to leave the analytics space. I want to use
Okay.
the Gen AI to blend
Okay.
it and enrich my profile here. I
Okay.
don't want because I don't have experience on the application development also.
Yeah.
It is a
So
typical
what you
data.
can
Yeah.
what you can do is one is, I think now since you are going to be a manager, you need to track your team members' performance and all, right? So you can
Mhm.
basically track it with the help of AI. You can whatever you need to give it to these team members and stuff like that, right? So you can use some AI tools to track their, monitor their performance, or give them feedback, or automate some. So for example, you are going to a meeting, but you don't have time to write a minutes of the meeting or something. You can use these AI tools to summarize something. Or you are having some entire conversation, like you don't have the time to read the entire email thread, you can just feed that email thread to the AI and ask to summarize it. So or like pointers, like all those things. Like since you are now going into a manager position, I think there may be a lot of use cases you can come. And one more, data analytics, I think you want to basically pick up user points, you want to build user stories based on data points, right? There'll be multiple data points that is there, and you are going to be creating reports, or I think you are going to be making user stories, or you are going to learn from the data and you are going to tell it to the management, report to the management what the data is telling, like that. So you can use, so you would have seen like now GPT-4o, there is one model, and Claude Sonnet 3.5, there is one model. What these things will do is, if you just take that entire Excel, I mean the entire report of the thing, and you just give it to this model, it will actually write a nice PPT. So if you explain like what kind of report you need, it will write that report for you. Like it will pick all those analytics and give it. So for data analytics, there are like a lot of use cases in AI. You can just I will give you this thing called as perplexity.com. You can just go to that, and you can just like explore like what all things I can do for data analytics with Gen AI. It itself will give you like a lot of ideas actually.
Yeah. So, one more question, Arvind. So, how do I increase the efficiency of the people who are working on the analytics space? So, you
Yeah,
talked about,
you need to
yeah.
ask them to also pick up AI, adopt AI. Like, see, once you know all these skills and once you know all this knowledge, you can guide your team members also to maybe pick up these skills, pick up these tools, and make their jobs more easier. Actually, like they can do, like say for example, all these monotonous or automated work, right? Which is like you can actually, for example, I'm telling you today's PPT I would have created in like 5 to 10 minutes. Actually, I know what I needed to present, but I like help, I got help from AI to create the PPT. So I'm just telling you, like if I had to create this PPT, it would have taken half an hour to 40 minutes, right, to give all the slide and stuff like that. But instead of that, I just told, like, I need to explain these things. This is my portion, and these are my attendees. I need to create a PPT and stuff like that, and it helped me create it. So I'm saying this is how I'm saving my time with the help of AI and doing it. So you can also
Perfect.
help your team members to do it actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you talked about the application part of it, but when it comes to,
Yeah.
because I'm also interacting with the data science team on a regular basis, so I know PySpark and Python. But it is only
Okay.
that I interact with them on a regular basis to understand, because the data analysis what they do and the data insights what we give is entirely different. They use these machine
Correct.
learning algorithms on a regular basis. How do I
Correct.
make sure that, because I'm also interacting with them, how do I make sure that they use AI
Mm-hmm.
and implement some of the things in their coding? I'm not sure about, because you talked about the application part. You talked about
Correct.
getting
So
getting the
see,
information, making the business
what
work.
you can do is you can understand what they are telling in a better way. So you can ask them the right question. Like for example, this is the model accuracy or something they are saying, right? So basically, you can like ask them some detailed questions. Like, can you explain me how this model is working and stuff like that. So you can
Okay.
basically record the audio. Okay, you can take the text and then you can feed it to the AI. So you need not have to understand everything then and there in the call. So basically you can have like an induction call. You can take all the things that they are saying and then you can put it to the AI and you can ask it to explain it to you like a someone who is a non machine learning person, right? So you don't understand the techniques or you don't know the technical terms and stuff, so you can ask it to explain it to you in a layman language, so you can understand what they are saying, and based on that in the next call you can be more prepared. So that kind of techniques this thing can do actually.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at, because I always wanted to move to the data science space, but I couldn't do that because I do not have practical experience of writing any algorithms.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that, would that, so if I do a Gen AI, would that
See,
replace
basically,
the,
GenAI is you will learn the tips and tricks of prompt engineering and all these things. You can utilize
Mhm.
it the way you want it to actually. That is it.
Okay, perfect. Sure, Arvind, thank you very much.
Okay, great. I think there's not much any more questions. I think maybe we can wrap up the call. Yeah, there's one more.
I've been
Yeah.
actually just want to know that what I understand in AI, that it is not an individual, it has to work with some application. If you are working with the data analysis, it is attached to data analysis to improve their working. So it is like
Correct.
that, or what I understand just now, I mean, after getting this information.
You can, I mean, like without, see, what I was explaining was even if you are in a different field, the Gen AI can help you. Even like without that, also, like for normal things, like normal work, also, Gen AI can help you. Or you want to build an application by yourself, like using these Gen AI APIs, and you want to create an application like a Gen AI application itself, you can do that also. So you can do it with for other jobs also, for AI related jobs also. So whichever industry you are in, this will be helpful for you. So that's what I'm telling.
So you should be with some industry, then then only it will work. If you are, I mean, if you are not doing anything, it will not work because it is just improving the area, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so what do you want to do with that actually? Like, I just want to understand.
Actually, I don't know about GenI. Just I want to know where I can explore my knowledge because I have a ERP knowledge, and I
Okay.
want to explore my knowledge in some new field. So I just want to know
Yeah,
how
so
I can go with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so basically you can what you can do is if you are not involved in any other field, you can learn the AI techniques actually, Gen AI techniques, and you can develop your interest and knowledge in this prompt engineering area, like how to better ask questions to AI, what are the tips and tricks to ask a interact with AI better, how to develop, this, how to make the, like how to, like say for example, there is a input tokens, output tokens, how to like craft a perfect prompt so that you can spend lesser money for inferencing and stuff, and how you can get the job done better. So all those things you can learn, right? You can become a prompt engineer itself. So those kind of things you can do. What are the different kind of Gen AI certification we can pursue after completing the course? Okay, so there is no, so this course is not actually into certifications, but there are certifications like Microsoft AI 102, Microsoft AI 900, and there are a lot of Google certifications available for free. There are IBM certifications that are available. There are other certifications like NVIDIA certification, but this course is not dealing with that actually. We are only giving knowledge for the Gen AI purpose. There is no specific AI related. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we have answered all the questions. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe we'll wrap up the call. If you have any more doubts or something, you can contact Visualpath. So they will guide you on the course and other details. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Okay, we'll wrap up the session.